Tubi movie review. Where today, oh wow, we have another wonderful entry into cinematic Tubi hierarchy for you. It was a doozy. The title of this, Rock the Boat. Leslie, I believe this is your pick. Take it away.
All right. So yes, I chose Rock the Boat. It is a Tubi original movie that just came out this year, more like a month or so ago, so it's brand spanking new. It's directed by Chris Stokes, which, feel how you feel. It was also executive produced by Chris Stokes, produced by Marcus Houston and Juanita Stokes. I assume that's maybe a sister or somebody. I don't know what her relation is to him.
Is he not
Written
married?
I don't know. So maybe it is his wife. I don't know. I don't know their
Okay.
relationship.
All right, whatever.
Um,
Stokes.
yeah,
All Stokes in
exactly.
this
The
bitch.
Oh, is
Stokes
that the,
family.
the teenager Marcus Houston married to?
No. But she did no, but she did the makeup, I want to say, for this movie. I saw her name up there in the credits. So anyway, it was written by Chris Stokes and Marcus Houston. They've written a lot of these like Tubi movies that are out there. They're trying to get their little producer bag in. Some of the notable actors was Zanique, who we know is Tiny's daughter. T.I. stepdaughter, Cynthia Bailey from Real Housewives, Parker McKenna Posey, who played Katie on My Wife and Kids. She's all grown up. Jarrell.
Oh, that's where I knew her from. I was like, girl, you look
Yes,
familiar as
that's definitely
hell.
that was her.
Oh,
Mm-hmm,
yes,
mm-hmm.
okay.
She's been in some other movies. And she was on what was that BT show? Two could play that game or some show I used to watch.
It's
It's not
irrelevant.
important.
We know who she is.
Anyway,
My wife is
yes,
from. We know where you're from.
yes. Also Jarrell Houston, who we know is Jay Book. Shout out to Jay Book. He was my favorite of
Is that
B2K.
his name? His last name was Houston?
Yeah.
I
God
didn't know that
damn.
either, Tristan. So
Talk
you're not
about
alone in that.
man, the Nepo shit is just in it to win it. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And
Damn,
then
none of my cousins couldn't be talented.
I mean, technically Jay Book, is he
Could
really
have joined
it's not
Making
important. That's
it's
not important.
And then Mark John Jeffries. Y'all know who that is? He played the boyfriend on here. Y'all didn't
Oh, I
recognize
know.
him?
No, I knew Mark the boyfriend.
Mark John Jeffries played Parker's boyfriend in this
Oh, okay.
movie.
The short
But
guy? I thought the
yeah.
short guy was Stokes' son.
Mm-mm.
Who's
Y'all
the
didn't
Stokes?
recognize?
Who's Stokes' son then?
I don't know. Does he have a son?
Yeah, somebody Stokes was in the movie.
Oh, I don't know, but it wasn't him. Mark John Jeffries. Let me see if y'all can guess this. I want my mama. I want my mama.
I don't know what that is,
I would
Leslie.
like my mother as well. That'd be
He
nice.
played Isaiah in Losing Isaiah.
Oh, okay, great.
Y'all can't tell by his face. He has the exact same face. Just
I
I
mean,
didn't
he
notice
did
that
look
at
a
all.
little familiar, but I just assumed that it was nepotism, like everybody else in the
the
damn film. I
and
just assumed it was nepotism.
I'm pretty sure he played a young 50 Cent in Get Rich or Die Trying. I know he was in there, so I'm pretty sure he played young
Okay,
50 Cent, if I remember.
that's coming to be more familiar to me. Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
So anyway, star-studded cast, if you will.
Star-studded. Wow. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
You're right. You're
We're
damn
gonna
right
let them
about
have
that.
it. All right, so we start the movie off with a tragic accident. There is a couple driving in a black SUV, and they are T-boned by a silver truck. And you can see that the woman is left hanging outside the truck, so one is to assume that the couple died. So then we go to the next scene where all the girls are partying on a yacht to celebrate Millie getting a job at Weber Tech. She's the first of her friends to get a job. They're all about to graduate and go on to like real adulthood, and they're having a good time. So Millie thanks her boyfriend Caleb for helping her get the job at Weber Tech because his parents own it. And they end up going down to like the master suite to have like a little bit of a good time alone. And they hear a loud scream coming from upstairs. So they rush to see what's going on, and they find that their friend Lewis is lying dead in a pool. So we go to the next scene, which is Lewis's brother Adam, and he finishes swimming his laps at practice, and he goes to take a shower at the locker room. They're discussing like how great his brother was, and then next thing you know, he's in the shower, sudsing up, and then he grabs like his shoulder, his chest area, and he just like falls over. Another athlete runs in to see him, immediately calls 911, and that's when we're introduced to Detective Daniels and Jacobs, who they rule his death basically that he OD'd. They asked a couple of kids if he was into like any drug enhancements, and they are like adamant no, he was anti-drug. But without any further evidence, they're just like, oh, he probably just OD'd. They did find like some drug paraphernalia in a locker. And then, yeah, they find it a little suspicious that 2 brothers have died within a 3-month span, but without any further evidence, they don't have anything else to go on. We fast forward to Millie waking up in her dorm room. She goes to the bathroom and immediately screams for her roommate Sophia because there's a message on the mirror, and I assume it was written in blood, that says, "Dear Diary, it was an accident." So the detectives come to.
I just thought it was lipstick.
I thought it was lipstick too. That's
Oh,
why.
maybe it was lipstick. Maybe I'm being
Like,
dramatic.
God damn, this movie took a turn. I was like,
maybe
wow.
I'm being dramatic.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go with lipstick. And so yeah, the detectives come to like investigate. They question the girls. They don't really like believe the girls didn't hear that anybody came into their room while they were in there sleeping. And the girls don't really appreciate like the accusatory tone that the detectives have, and they ask them to leave. So next we see that Detective Jacobs pulls an all-nighter in the office, and he's awakened by a phone call. And then he tells his partner, Detective Daniels, that it's just something about Millie that just makes him believe that like she may know more than what she's telling them. And then the other detective was like, it could just be a college prank, it could be all coincidence, like, don't get yourself worked up type of thing. So then we go back to the girls' dorm room where Millie and Sophia is hanging out with the girls. Bree walks in all dressed up, tells them she's going on a date, not to wait up for her, and then she walks out the door. Not even a minute later, we hear screaming outside, and then one of the girls runs to the balcony and shouts, "It's Bree, it's Bree." So they run out and see that Bree is dead at the bottom of the stairs, lying on her back. So then we go back to the police station where the detectives bring the students in to question them. They ask them if there's any type of like animosity or jealousy, like could that be a motive with these mysterious deaths? And all of them say no, like they're friends. There's nothing like that going on, so they let them go home. So the detectives start to do like more of a deep dive into like each of the backgrounds of the students, just to see if they can find like any clues or anything that could lead them in the direction of what's going on with these students and these deaths. So the forensic did conclude that the way that the needle was inserted into Adam's body, the boy who died in the locker room shower, it had to be done by someone else. But Detective Daniel says that anyone can OD from steroids. It could have been like a coach or another athlete that may have helped inject him. And then he also says that, Daniels is a female detective. She also says that Lewis's brother was just drunk and, struck his head and died from drowning on the yacht. So she rules that an accident as well. But Detective Jacobs, the male detective, doesn't believe that Bree just had a broken heel that caused her to fall down the steps and break her neck. He thinks someone could have possibly spiked Lewis's punch and given Adam an extra dose of steroids and broken Bree's heel on purpose to make everything look like an accident. He just doesn't think these are coincidences. So then, with that being said, the detective decided to dig a little deeper and visit Sophia's Uncle Rob. It's like her play uncle, not really her uncle, but she's known him since she was a child. And he owns this pizza restaurant. So they go visit him, try to ask him some questions. And then it cuts to the next scene where the kids are actually at the pizza restaurant. Uncle Rob tells Sophia, "Hey, the detectives came to question me. I just want to check in on you, make sure that you're straight. So come. I'll feed your friends for free. Y'all don't have to worry about it. I just want to make sure you're good." So they discuss what's going on, all the kids, and they were like, we need to stay together. No one should be like going off because it's just really weird. But their friend Terry was like, well, my mom wants me to come home. She wants me, to be at home while all this gets figured out. So I'm going to go home this weekend. So we go back to the girls' dorm room when there is a knock on the door. Millie receives a package that she thinks is like a gift from her boyfriend, Caleb. So when she opens it, she reads the card and it says, again, "Dear Diary, was an accident." The same thing is said on the mirror. So she throws the box to the ground. Once she opens it and sees what's in it, and it is the heel from Bree's heel. So, she freaks out about that. So she immediately calls the detectives to explain what happened. And they come to see them, but then they end up leaving because, like, once again, they don't really believe that the girls are completely innocent in this, which upsets the girls, so the detectives leave. So then we go to that weekend when Terry is about to go home. She hugs all her friends goodbye, says she'll see them later type of thing. But that is not the case, because as she's driving home, she realizes that her brakes don't work. She starts panicking, starts swerving all over the road. She almost hits this girl who's like walking with her, head down, looking at her phone, not paying attention. But she ends up swerving and running into a pole, of course, instantly dying on impact. So then their friend, what were you about to say? Okay. Okay, so their friend rushes into Millie and Sophia's room to pull up the news video that shows Terry's accident. So now they really make the vow to not split up anymore. They're going to meet up with the guys and they're just all going to stay together, because clearly when they split up, that's when the accidental deaths happen. So Timmy is drunk and he's in a friend Matt's room. Matt has a girl in there as well. They're just hanging out, and Timmy decides he wants to go visit a girl. So Matt asks if he's driving. He says, "No, I'm going to walk," and he leaves. Literally a few minutes later, the rest of the friends come in looking for Timmy, and Matt's like, "Oh, he just left." So they're searching for Timmy. They end up finding him walking down the street. You could tell he's really drunk as a skunk. He's just kind of all over the place, walking in the middle of the street, just all over the place. And he actually almost gets hit by a car. So we think this is going to be Timmy's demise. But no, his homeboy Caleb runs in the street, pushes him out the way, saves his life just in time. So we then see that the detectives take their file to the captain of what they've gotten so far and everything. They try to convince him that all the students' deaths are not accidents, that are actually related. And the captain pretty much tells them to come back once they discover what the deeper connection is. So then we see that Millie decides to go home to her Aunt Carol's house. She kisses Caleb goodbye.
Now, hold on. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, it's fine. It's fine. No,
okay.
It's fine. No, it's fine.
Okay.
Go ahead. Please continue.
Okay. So now we see that Millie is back at Aunt Carol's house. Aunt Carol's funny. She gives Millie cookies while she drinks liquor straight from the bottle.
She was getting fucked up.
She was getting messed up.
She brought the bottle out, stood in here, and said, "Here are the cookies. Here's my cookies."
Pretty much.
Damn, girl.
Pretty much. So Aunt Carol shows Millie the divorce paper that her husband, Luke, just sent her. He's dating another woman, so that's the reason why she's drinking, clearly upset about it. Millie decides to go to her room and she starts looking at old pictures and toys and ends up dozing off. But she wakes up after hearing a noise from the other room. So she runs into the other room to see that Aunt Carol has pretty much dropped the nearly finished liquor bottle. That's the thud that she heard because she's passed out in the chair. So she covers her up with a blanket and goes back to lay down. She ends up having a dream that her aunt and uncle are arguing about whose fault it is while Millie is laying in a hospital bed. This is her younger self. And her uncle says as long as she's with them, she'll never be alone again. So once again, Millie is awakened by a lot of noise coming from the other room. She calls out hello. She says, "I'm Carol," and doesn't hear a response. So she walks into the kitchen. She sees a young girl opening the pantry, looking back at her. She bends down to pick up a few boxes and moves them over to another area so she can open a secret door that leads to a staircase into the basement. So Millie starts walking behind the girl when the girl suddenly stops, turns around, and screams at Millie, which wakes Millie up from her dream. So she was having another dream. So there's a flashback to Aunt Carol giving that same young girl she saw, which is her younger self, a diary. So Millie runs to the pantry, does the same thing, moves those boxes to another area. She opens the door down to the basement, and she starts rummaging in a trunk looking for that diary, which she finds. She immediately takes it to her Aunt Carol and, asks her about it. Her Aunt Carol tells her she got it from an old lady. She was like, "You don't need to know about that diary." But Millie's pretty adamant. She wants to know, what is this? Where did I get it from? And Aunt Carol says, Olga made you forget. So Aunt Carol tells Millie to go to the address on the back of the diary if she really wants these answers, but she warns her that it's going to take her to a dark place and it's not somewhere that she wants to go back to. But Millie says that, she trusts that she would never hide it from her. And she just wants to remember like what happened. She can't really remember her old life previous to like her parents dying, so she just wants to know what happened. So we flash forward to the rest of her friends are at the library. They've been trying to get in touch with Millie, but she's not answering her phone. They don't know where her aunt lives, so they're kind of just in limbo until Millie comes back. So Timmy says that he wants to leave. Caleb tries to stop him because again they all agree to stay together. Timmy ends up punching Caleb. They get in a little tussle, and then Timmy walks off. So now Millie has gone to the address on the back of the diary, which is Olga's house. So she walks to the door, says hello, no one answers. She walks around to the side of the house, looks around, and she goes back to the front. How convenient that the door is open. So she walks through the door, shuts it behind her, and just continues to call out hello. Olga ends up walking up behind Millie. She cocks her shotgun and tells her not to move. Millie screams. And then Olga laughs, puts her gun down, and then she says, like, oh, it's about time you came to see me. And Millie's like shocked, like, oh, you know who I am? And Olga was like, yes, like, did you bring the diary? So Olga reveals that she's the one that gave Millie the diary, and there's a lot that Millie doesn't remember because she made her forget per her aunt and uncle's request. She asked Millie, she says there's a story she was told, and then there's the truth. And so she asked Millie, which one do you want to hear? And Millie says, whichever one will save my friend. So Olga reveals that the passages in the diary are Millie's own thoughts. But Millie says, like, no, these can't be my thoughts. Like, I don't remember writing them. And Olga says she doesn't remember because she made her forget. So Millie ends up calling Sophia, tells her that she ends up killing everyone, then tells Sophia to meet her and Caleb at the police station. So Millie confesses to the detectives about all the evil things she wrote in her diary, but the detectives are having a hard time believing it because they're like, you just wrote words in a book. Like, how does that equal death to your friends? Doesn't make sense. So Millie tells Caleb that she's going to ride home with Sophia and kisses him goodbye. Detective Daniels doesn't like necessarily believe that story, but Detective Jacobs kind of does. He's like, no, there is something to this. Like, there has to be. So we fast forward to a whole year later. The group is back on that yacht, same yacht, celebrating. Because that's Caleb's family yacht. They are celebrating Millie working for Weber Tech for a whole year. They're, talking about all their, jobs post-graduation and just like being real adults now. When you can see Millie picks up like, some cups and stuff, like she's starting to like tidy up a little bit. She walks over to like the kitchen area of the yacht. And then you can see like this man, like she's walking behind her or whatever. And so a couple of her friends are still drinking and, having a good time. And then next thing you know, that same man that walked up behind Millie, who she didn't see, he walks up behind Timmy and instantly like just breaks his neck, which causes everybody to scream. So Caleb did
cracking up.
It was so random because it's like this man just appears behind Millie. And next thing you know, he like beelines to Timmy. Yeah.
I was like, damn, what Timmy do? I thought he skipped his death.
Right. Nah, he can't get away from him. So
I just want to learn where he learned these Navy SEAL.
So the guy tells him to relax before he blows the boat up, and he shows him that he has like a detonator bomb, whatever, on him. And then he tells Millie to come out from the kitchen area. So at the same time, they cut to the police station where Detective Daniels runs into Detective Jacobs' office and tells him about an accident that occurred exactly 10 years ago. She explains Eric and Tracy Barnes were killed in a car accident and their 2 children survived, one being Millie and the other is their son, Jalil Barnes. So Jalil is actually the man that's currently on the yacht who just killed Timmy. Jalil tells everyone about their parents' car accident and that Caleb was the one that killed them. So it flashes
thickens.
Plots, yeah, like this was a good little plot twist. I was like, ooh, okay, they did that. Exactly. So it flashes back to the police telling Millie her parents were killed while she was home with her babysitter, which to me was like very callous. Like they just broke the news to this little girl in front of her babysitter. Like, I don't know, they could have had more care.
Well, why didn't they break the news to the brother? They just called the daughter over there and was like, hey, you didn't tell Millie that her parents died.
It was really weird. And you can see like Jalil's seen crying in the window. So he explained that he was 18 at the time and was too old for like his aunt and uncle to like adopt him. So they basically left him to fend for himself, which is really, really sad. While they took Millie in and still cared for her because she was young. She was probably like 8 or 10 or something like that. So young Millie writes in her diary that she's going to make whoever is responsible for her parents' death pay for it. Millie doesn't remember Jalil. He explains that Olga made Millie forget everything. And Olga says Millie is the daughter that she never had, so she wanted to like help her. So she hypnotized Millie for her own sanity, per her aunt and uncle's request. Olga begged them not to do it, but she explained the side effects, and permanent memory loss was one of those side effects. So Olga says that there are no coincidences. It's just a diary, and only people can kill people. So she said Millie was in a very dark place when she got the diary, and now her dark side must have manifested through those thoughts. And Olga suggested someone got a hold of her diary since she can't be in two places at once. So that's where the connection is made. So basically, Jalil got a hold of Millie's diary, saw her thoughts about this, and he started putting those thoughts into action. So the detectives figure all this out. They say they need to go find Jalil before he does something the night of the 10-year anniversary of his parents' death. So Jalil's like, don't y'all want to know like why I'm doing all this and all this stuff? So he starts to explain himself. And he explains that Sophia's mom was the CFO at Weber Tech and was supposed to make sure that their family received a settlement from the accident, but they never received that settlement. Their family didn't have any money, and Jalil ended up having to live on the streets doing whatever he had to survive. Summer's dad, Jonathan Baring, was the CEO of Weber Tech. He hid the documents that would have proven Sophia's mom hid their settlement, because Sophia's mom was like, I'll give you some if you like help me hide these documents type of thing or whatever. So Timmy's father was the family's attorney who sued Weber Tech for $10 million after they never received their settlement. But he ended up taking a $2.5 million deal that Weber offered to throw the entire trial out, which left the family empty-handed. Caleb was the kid who stole his dad's truck just looking for attention. He would enjoy riding and killed Millie's parents. He wasn't even hurt, not even a scratch. And he got out, looked, and then took off running because he was scared. So due to his family's power and wealth, they were able just to sweep everything under the rug and basically face no consequences. So Jalil went to Aunt Carol's to visit Millie, but they didn't, want her to see him. So they turned him away. But he ended up snooping a little, and that's when he found Millie's diary, discovered, her purpose was to avenge her parents, and that's what he vowed that he would do. So Adam and Lewis's father, Kenneth, was hired by Caleb's father to pay the judge off to throw the trial. And Judge Eleanor Smith was Terry's mother. She was paid to throw the case. So Millie wrote all these details down in her diary. Which,
as a 5-year-old, she just knew all of it.
That's what I was about to say, which is she had to be very, very smart in order to know all this stuff.
Super young, and she just knew everybody's name, and she just knew that they threw the cases. And also, shout out to all these people being black, because the judge is black, the lawyer
CEO,
is black, the CEO is black. I'm like, okay.
I'm here for it.
Let's keep it coming.
You're right. All right, so it also, like, there's a flashback to like everything like Jalil did, right? So it shows that Jalil slipped some drugs into Lewis's drink when they were on the yacht, which caused him to pass out in the jacuzzi. It shows that he's the one that injected the substance into Adam's shoulder while he was showering, which killed him instantly. And he put the drugs in a locker to be found by the detectives. And Jalil just keeps like basically talking more about like himself. So he talked about like being suicidal. He had, extensive therapy, but like none of this stuff helped him until he, started killing these people who were responsible for his parents' death and changing the trajectory of his life. So Bree's parents, the reason why she was killed, her parents were the couple that you see that were eyewitnesses to the accident, but they ended up taking a bribe to keep their mouth shut. So Terry died like her parents did in a car accident. He also explains how they all ended up at the same college, because that was my question. Like, so how convenient that like all these people's like kids end up at the same college. But he mentioned that Summer's GPA was barely good enough for the community college, and Sophia got into Yale, but he changed her application online. And they were at the same college that Caleb's dad attended, so he just made sure that was going to be a thing. So here we have where after all of this, Caleb attempts to be heroic, and he asks Jalil just to take him. Since everything started with him, he's the one that caused the accident. He like, please don't hurt the girls, just take it up with me. And Jalil tells him to stop because that heroic stuff won't work. He says he chose this specific yacht to kill them tonight because this is a yacht that their parents were on the way to when they died.
It was taking it too far with these.
I know, all these connections. Right. So their mom's dream was to have lunch on that very specific yacht. So that's where they were headed when they were killed, which again is Caleb's parents' yacht. So Jalil turns his back while holding the detonator up, and Caleb, of course he does, and Caleb rushes forward to tackle him. So they start fighting while the girls remove the bomb from around Millie's waist. Millie tries to stop Jalil, and he ends up hitting her. He and Caleb continue to fight while the bomb is seconds away from going off. Caleb is able to knock Jalil out long enough to pick Millie up, and they jump off the side of the yacht into the water just as the bomb explodes next to Jalil. So you can assume that Jalil died. Unless there's a part 2. We'll see. So everyone surrounds Millie in the hospital as she sleeps because, of course, she's the only one that was hurt in this whole thing. Like, none of the other people got hurt. She has severe head injury and doesn't remember her name, once again. And the group agrees to take everything to the grave so their family's name aren't ruined and Caleb doesn't go to jail. So they're just like their parents. Caleb said he overheard the police saying Jalil died on the yacht. As they leave the hospital, Olga walks into Millie's room, stirring a concoction. Millie asks who she is and says she doesn't remember her. And Olga tells her she's an old friend who is there to help her remember.
Hey y'all. It's your boy Tris.
It's your girl Les.
And I'm Shauna Don.
And we are
Culture 101, formerly known as the Millennial Masterclass.
We're the same old millennials.
And now we're pushing the culture forward.
That was a lie. So what did y'all think about Rock the Boat?
I'll let Sean go first because I feel like Sean has positive things to say. So that's good.
I have so many positive things to say. It was given Tubi original. It was given Tubi. It was given everything that I'd be looking for in a Tubi movie. Terrible punches, terrible...
Oh my goodness!
Terrible like shot scene or like getting beat up because it just looks so terrible, and that's what I love about Tubi, honestly. So
that's why we come.
Rock the Boat was a hit for me. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Rock the Boat was a hit for me. They did way too much trying to tie in everything, like the connections. We didn't
everything connected.
Every single thing. Like, come on, man. And what black ass town was everybody living in? That everybody black was the judge, the witness, like they just was everywhere. So,
yeah. Was it Atlanta?
Right. It was little loose ends, but I thought it was great. Now, Tristan, let's hear what negative you got to say.
Okay, negative Nancy over here.
Negative Neil.
Look, it'd be different. Like when some shit is dope, I'd be like, it's dope. You hear me say it's dope. The people have heard me say when shit is dope. When shit is not dope, I cannot hold my tongue. I need to let people know why the shit is not dope. And I'm going to tell you why the shit is not dope. Okay, well, let's just start at the beginning of this fucked up long-ass TV show. This should have been a TV show. This shit should have been 30 minutes long, but they decided to let it be an hour. First off, we're going to look at the nepotism aside because I get that. You want to help your family out, and that's fine. Because I don't know that Jarrell should have been the detective, but that's okay. We're going to go from there. And then that lady's wig, the detective, that wig just pissed me the fuck off the whole time.
She was giving like a bootleg Carrie Hilson to me. Didn't she look like Carrie Hilson a little bit?
Yes. The fucked up Carrie Hilson. Exactly.
Not a bootleg Carrie Hilson.
So I get that. We had some spotty acting, a very TV style feel, because every time you show me that establishing shot, I'm like, what is this? Is this Laguna Beach? What is this? Why are you showing me this school? What's going on right now? But whatever. And then you got some lingering camera angles that just didn't make any sense. But I just feel like they didn't do the actors any favors. They didn't do them any favors with the camera angles. Like, you didn't really help them out at all. The only person you maybe helped out was Homegirl her boyfriend. They must really like him for whatever reason. So somebody's father paid for him to be there because he was just dry. He was dry like the desert air, like some toast,
Oh,
just dry. And
dang.
then it was too much. And then I knew Homegirl was in on it like 20 minutes into the movie. Like I already knew she was in on 20 minutes in. I was like, what is this? I was
Who,
like, clearly
Sophia?
no, the homegirl that with the diary. Is that her name, Sophia?
Oh, Millie.
Millie. Yeah,
That was
I knew
Millie.
she was in on 20 minutes in. I was like, you connected in this somehow. You're killing your friends. You're way too upset about all of this. So something you did something in this. And so technically she did. She was the architect for all this crime. Honestly, how I really wanted the
Unbeknownst to
movie.
her.
I mean, but whatever, it's fine. But like, let's just go over a couple things here. Oh yeah, the weird reveal, like when he's revealing everything, that was just way too much. Okay, let me ask this question. Okay, so y'all all decided it's safer to stay together. Y'all wouldn't chase the drunk nigga down because it's safer to stay together. Millie, bitch, why did you leave? What did you leave for? What was safer? What made you safer there than you were with all your friends that you just decided? But now you gonna leave after you saw Homegirl die. That's already
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And then then this is when they started to really try to show filmmaking prowess. So when Millie's at home, then you're trying to like, okay, so is this a horror film now? Like, what are we setting up here? What are we establishing? I was just like, okay. That's fine. So then Millie decides I'm gonna go visit this lady. That was weird. Honestly, their scenes were the best. Those are some of the better
Her and
scenes in the
Olga?
movie.
Her and Olga,
Yeah.
why did they name that black lady Olga?
Because she needed to stand out clearly. So her name was
Clearly.
Olga. But I feel like their scenes were the best because I feel like it was probably the most intriguing for both people doing it. So I feel like they felt connected to it. At least that was what I got from watching those scenes. Now maybe the actors will tell you something different. No, we felt connected in every scene. Did you? Are you sure? That's impossible. But whatever. Now let me ask this question. How did the detective put all that shit together? How he put all that together? And it took you a
How?
year to find out she had a brother?
Yeah.
It took you a year to find out she had a brother? A year. It took you 1 year to figure all of that out. And then you happened to figure it out on the night to the day that you figured it out.
The hour.
Now,
Right.
right. You know, I think we need to go down there and check on them. Do you now? That's what you think. You didn't want to call nobody? You didn't pick up a fucking telephone. Like, you didn't, like, none
It's
of
the 10-year anniversary. Something's gonna go down. Let's go find them.
But okay, it's a movie. You got to
any
move
other
the,
time to do it,
the
it's
story
right now.
forward.
Right.
But how he set up all of them things up, how he set all of that up by himself with no help. He had no help. And I thought he had no money. How he set all this up? How did he do any
he
of
had
this?
no money.
Where you get them steroids from? Where you get the C4 from? That's C4. That shit's expensive. Where did you? And then you did her, and then you did the thing. How did you get on the boat in the first place? So you just been following her this whole time? Like who trained you? Like how did you even get to any of this? Like I'm just supposed to believe this. And then they put all of this on this actor's shoulders. They're like, okay, buddy, we want you to go out there and be this crazy dude, but controlled. But we want you to have done all this smart
He
shit.
did a good job, though.
Right. With all of that, because like it wasn't great in the moment, but when you consider all that he had on his shoulders and had to portray, I was like, you know what, buddy, I respect that you had to do all of that.
I thought
His acting skills, yeah, I believe he was crazy. Like he did a good job acting
But
wise.
they didn't do him no favors. They didn't do him any
Sure.
favors. That's neck snapping shit. That was wild. And
Yeah.
then they didn't even want to like you didn't give him appropriate music. Like, and then it only got exciting at the end. Like, you could have turned the camera just a bit angle-wise just to make him more... I'm just saying, you do that man some favors. He's over here acting out your loony-ass script, and you can't do him some favors. But whatever. It's fine. Yeah, that movie it was just much. It was just too much. Like, it needed to be 30 minutes long. Like, if they had chopped this up in the series, I would have believed it more. I would have believed it more if they had just chopped it up into like a little
If this
3-part thing.
needed to be 30 minutes long, Milkman should have been 2 minutes long.
No, Milkman should have been 15 minutes long. But like I could have seen that as a short film. But you know, given recent events, you know, I'm willing to.
You right.
Given recent events, I'm willing to try and let Milkman. You know, I'm trying to understand what Marvin Williams III's vision truly was, because maybe we just didn't truly understand his vision.
The lead actress
know?
was amazing, though. She did a great job, Milkman.
She did do a good job. She did a very good job. Probably the most shining point in the film.
We appreciate her.
We do. We really do. Shout out to you, girl. Shout out to you. Yeah, but like, okay, so if y'all are tying a movie together, how he get all them to the same school? Just answer me that question. Like, I'm willing to believe that you were just, because why not kill the parents? That's the first thing. Kill the parents. Why would you not kill the parents?
But you know, he wanted to cut the parents deep. That's why he went after their kids.
You can with a knife. You cut them real deep.
But then they die and they don't feel anything. He wanted them to feel that for life.
If you took all this time to put all this patience together, you couldn't torture them?
But Tristan, the thing is, he had to suffer for 10 years. He wants some parents to suffer, not for 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 days. He wants them to suffer for years like he did, which is why he went after their children. Now, as far as like tying it all in and making sure they all went to the same school, like they lightly touched on it, but it still didn't make sense how they all ended up in the same school. How Millie started dating Caleb. Like, that was a little like,
so you're saying the brother set that up too? Like, you never knew who you wanted to date. I set all of this up just so
apparently
you can
that's what they were alluding to.
Yeah, they tried too hard for that one.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I was willing to accept all of this if you had let the movie end like Millie decided to be in on it and kill all these niggas. I would have accepted all of it. I would have accepted it. Because that would have been like
their friends. She purposely dated him. Right. That would have made more sense.
And then she started laughing or whatever.
Yeah,
and then maybe
evil laugh.
Right. And then be like, yo, I think we should get married. And then she could have, exhumed all the money.
Her brother?
No, come on now.
Oh,
her and Caleb. Her and Caleb. Come on now.
Oh, to get his fortune. Got it. That would have been good.
You see what I'm saying? And then they could have been black serial killers. Yeah. That would have been cool. But y'all decided to put together some wacky bullshit and then be like, this is the ending. And you know what, guys? You know what? We're going to keep this to the grave. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. That goes without saying. You need to say that. And you talked about it in the hospital. That was foolish. What we talking about it there for?
Because, people who are like comatose, they can still hear. So she might be hearing all that,
no. I cannot co-sign this movie when they do dumb shit like that. There's too many holes.
That would have been better if she had schemed him into marrying her and taking half his fortune and all that. Yeah, that would have been better. That would have made more sense.
You know what I mean? That would have been great. That would have been awesome. Because I'll watch 2-3 more of those. Oh man, I love a good. And then we're the serial killers. How often are black people serial killers in the movie? That never happens. Right, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Ooh, that would have been good. Okay.
That was a good little twist on the movie, though. That would have been good.
Yeah.
It's right there. Like, I know they saw it.
What do you rate the movie? Since you're so passionate right now, what would you give it? How many fists?
Because they did take the time to try to really set the aesthetic. They got costumes together. Makeup was on point. You definitely got some. You did. That's important. That's important shit. Look, I've seen movies fail because of shit like that. They got transportation together. They clearly used PAs. They supported their family with that. The lighting was okay. I'm gonna give it 1.5 fists. I'm gonna give it 1.5. 1.5.
I thought at least gonna get a 3 with all
I'm gonna get. You know what? That is a bit harsh. I'm gonna give it 2. We're gonna even it off at 2. But because the thing is that you can't dangle the carrot. Like, I feel like that movie was a tease. Like, you teased me with something good. Like, I thought we were really gonna get something good, and like it had legs on it, and then you just gonna leave the room. That was a tease. 2 at best. At best.
You feel personally attacked.
I really do.
Giving it 4.
You giving it 4? Okay.
I'm giving it 4 fists.
Okay.
2.
4.
I will give it. Initially, I was going to give it a 4, but after hearing everything Tristan pointed out, because he gets real technical with it, and just coming up with that alternate ending, which I feel like would have made more sense if Millie was in on it. I feel like 3.5 is fair. I feel like, because overall I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the plot twist with the brother going into all that. But if Millie had been in on it, it would have made more sense as to how they were able to tie everything in together and all that
Because I
stuff.
wouldn't
So,
have
yeah.
had to. I would have believed. I'd have been like, "Oh, so
Yeah.
Millie's doing orchestrate because she wrote it in the
Yeah.
diary in the first place. She was the queen pin. Like, accept your role, girl. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. That would have made
You
more
know, talk
sense
about powerful black woman. That's a powerful black woman right there. That'd be amazing.
instead of her just being a victim in it all again.
Right,
So,
right. The most powerful lady in the
Giving
movie was
white woman.
Olga. Fuck
yeah.
Olga.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see Olga.
No, I like Olga. Olga was cool.
Olga was a very interesting character. I'm just saying that was not the last shot of the movie I was looking for. I wanted,
Yeah.
and now if Olga had also been in on it, and they got the aunt back too, because that aunt
Ooh.
uncle deserved to be gotten too. Why you leave the brother? That's your nephew.
That was sad.
Mhm.
I
That
mean,
was-
they have some room to grow if they do a second one. Maybe they'll like tie in some of these loose ends or answer some of these questions. So we'll give them some grace.
How? It's too late. You've already sold it. You've already sold it.
Part 2 could make more sense though. I don't know. We'll see. Because I feel like they are going to come with the second one just based on how it ended. Like, I don't know.
Still
We'll see.
rocking that boat, huh? That's gonna be the name of the movie.
Still rocking that boat.
Still rocking that boat.
Rock the boat some more. Anyway.
Oh God! But they got black folk working, so I commend them for that. I really appreciate that. You got black folk working. You created a space that was out of the white gaze. Look, I respect all of that. Look, you get that from me, but like, come on now. Look, we can talk for real. Look, if you saw LeBron and he played like trash, you would tell him, right? Bron came out there and just wet the bed. Nigga, you did the same. It happened. We saw it.
So, with your 2 stars, does this do it for the culture for you, Tristan?
It actually does. It's unfortunate, like it actually does do it for the culture because of all the technical stuff. I mean,
yeah.
Like, and they shot in LA, right?
That I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. Probably
They
that
shot
or
in
Atlanta.
Georgia. Yeah. Well, anyway, you made whatever you did. You made the world look presentable. I liked the aesthetic of the movie. It was a good looking aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah, I would also say it does it for the culture for me.
Mhm.
Okay. I agree. Like I said, this is a Tubi original. It's what we look for when we go to Tubi movies. Like you said, they employed a lot of black people. For me, it was a star-studded cast because I knew just about everybody that was in there. I think they did a great job. Little holes here and there, but overall, I think it did it for the culture.
Okay. All righty then. Wow, that brings us to the end of another Tubi movie review. I just feel like we're racking them up right now. I love it.
We
I love
are.
it.
Hopefully people are, taking our, suggestions and getting into them as well and enjoying them. Let us know if y'all have some suggestions for us. We'll go ahead and watch those, whether you love them or hate them or both. Send them over.
Right, but guys, remember, if you're making suggestions, it can only appear on Tubi. That's the
part.
thing. That's the thing. It's got to only appear on Tubi. Like, if I catch it on Amazon, I'm whipping your ass. That's all I'm saying. Don't suggest me nothing that's not on Tubi.
Because we know Tubi has a lot of different movies on it, but we're looking for Tubi originals or them hood classics that you will only catch on Tubi. So those types of movies.
Correct. Doesn't have to have the Tubi original tag. Just gotta be on Tubi, y'all. That's all.
Correct. And what we're talking about when we say Tubi movie. So don't act slow down.
All right, y'all. Until the next time. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.